Hi, I'm Steve Redgrave. This is my 5 top picks of Henley Royal Regatta. My first choice of my 5 clips was actually of the first day of the Wife-Old Challenge Cup. It was Marlow against Tyranny, and I think this is a classic of steering badly to how it should not be done.
Away they go.
So there you've got Tyrion just smashing into the booms, probably about a minute off the start, and that is something you don't want to hit. It hurts, it's painful, you could damage the boat, you could break the blades, and normally if you do hit the booms, that's it, it's game over. And Tyrion were down at the time against Marlow. They missed 2 or 3 strokes, was able to pick up, got back into their rhythm, got past Marlow and finished the race. The only problem is Marlow is my rowing club, so I was bitterly disappointed that Marlow didn't get through. My next choice is Tyne Rowing Club against NSR Oslo. The reason I've picked out this race is that it was tight all the way up the course. Tyne took a very early lead, only by a few inches. At this point here that Oslo are 3/4 of the length up, looking comfortable. Normally when you get about 3/4 of the length up, it's difficult to come back from that, but Tyne just wouldn't give up. Stayed with it all the time, kept coming, and then the last closing stages really put the pressure on. But because Oslo couldn't steer, they were actually racing further distance than any other crew because they can't do a straight line. Tyne steered well, kept the pressure on them, and then came charging back at the finish. It looked like it was going to be a dead heat at one stage, and I think the verdict was 1 foot. So that just shows you, never give up. Always keep going, always keep pushing. That's going to give them motivation to keep training, to come back to maybe of winning the event next year. My next race was the Temple Challenge Cup. Now this was against Oxford Brookes, against Neeras, Holland. It was an amazing race to watch. One that you would like to watch it and not be in, especially if you're in the Oxford Brookes crew. So the barrier is the first timed point, and that's roughly 2 minutes into the race. With the 8s, it's slightly under 2 minutes. Neeras equalled the record to that point. At the Forley, the midway point, is Neeras again equalled the record to that point, so equalled the fastest crew, and it was neck and neck all the way up the course. Oxford Brookes wouldn't give up. They made challenge after challenge after challenge, and ending up just being a canvas difference between the boats, and Neeras going on to hold the victory all the way up. The overall time was 9 seconds quicker than the overall record has ever been before. So equalled 1 point, equalled the next point, and then the second half of the course went 9 seconds quicker than any other 8 in the Temple Challenge Cup before, and that meant that Oxford Brookes also smashed the old record as well. A classic race, a real gut buster. My next choice is the Forley Challenge Cup, Sir William Boulais against Glasgow Academy. Sir William Boulais have had more victories in recent years than any other school, so they are a standout school, and also Glasgow Academy. It's somewhere that there hasn't really been a lot of history of the sport of rowing, but what a gutsy crew here. But as the crews go off the start, is the stroke man of the Boulais crew actually loses control of one of his blades, lose it from his hand completely, grappling to get hold of it, and the blade is turned around the other direction. It takes him 3 or 4 strokes to get his hand back onto the scull. Their steering at this point goes all over the place.
Sir William Boulais boat, they need to get straight, they are heading for the booms at the moment.
Boulais just stayed with them, just slightly behind all the way. And these closing shots here of Glasgow Academy, of being under pressure so much from a classy crew of ball-A's, blades not going into time, everything you don't want to see. But ball-A's then just sneaked through to take the victory. But all credit to Glasgow, they had a great crew, and actually two of them went on to the Junior World Championships in that category of boats and took the gold medal at the Junior World Championships. So it wasn't all doom and gloom for Glasgow, and hopefully they'll be back in the next few years getting to finals and hopefully winning, because it's great to see a Scottish crew do so well. My last race that I've chosen is the Ladies' Plate, so intermediate eights. It was Yale against Washington. Washington were the crew that everyone was raving about. They're unbeaten through the season, have dominated the American collegiate circuit. But as the crews arrived here, the reality is it turned out very different. Yale don't come to Henley Royal Regatta very often, but when they do have a good crew.
Started the ladies' challenge.
Yeah, and expect to see the Yale boys going out really.
They took an early lead against the play of what everyone was thinking it was going to happen. I was actually around the luncheon tent area when this race came up, and I was talking to the president and former chairman of Henley Royal Regatta, of Mike Sweeney, and he said that definitely Washington are going to win this race. And as they come up into the closing stages, Yale were in front by a significant margin. So a real surprise to the crowd, not a huge surprise to me, because I'd watched the previous races and I thought Yale looked good. I think it was their first win at Henley Royal Regatta for over 20 years. So there was a lot of celebration going on there. This race wasn't part of my five, but I thought it was really worth showing. It was Napkova that should be shown in her own right. Olympic champion and now 5 times winner of the Princess Royal Challenge Trophy. And just the respect that she gave and the sport of rowing for the minute silence of the Tunisia disaster that happened the week before Henley, is that there was a national minute silence, and as she crossed the line, the minute silence started. The women's 8 were on the start, they respected the minute silence, and everyone in the enclosures bowed their heads, stood completely and utterly silent. I just thought they were stunning sights to see. Very, very respectful for something that we would have preferred not to happen.